But the promise of jobs and prosperity among many factors that draw people to cities. The United Nations says half of the global population already lives in cities, and by 2050, two-thirds will be living in broader urban areas. And this is going to bring together two of the most pressing problems facing the world today, poverty and environmental degradation. So is there a solution? Is there a better way of planning cities? And will successful urban environments be the ones to save the world? If it is, what are they going to look like? And how are our cities faring in this regard? Audrey Fourie is with us, an environmentally sustainable design consultant. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. Simply put, how is climate change then impacting on cities right now and how we live in them?
I think most telling would be the flooding that we saw last night as well. Our cities are just not equipped with the volume of water that falls down now when we have these large-scale precipitation events. But it's also, you can see the a counter with the drought that we experienced in Cape Town, where they had the real possibility of running out of water.
And seemingly, Audrey, we are unprepared for this. If you look at what happened in Johannesburg last night, out of nowhere, particularly on Jan Smuts Avenue, you know, a stone's throw from where you and I are talking, 1 minute people are sitting having a drink on a pavement cafe, the next minute, you know, they're taking videos and saying, what on earth is happening? Why the ill-preparedness, I wonder?
I think it also has got a lot to do with when cities are planned, you look at the environment that you're in at that point, and how climate has actually changed has had significant impact on how weather patterns have changed, and we might not have been ready. Now we need to find a way to very quickly adapt, to get ready and to stay adaptable. So it really is about mitigating what's going on, but having that adaptability to the unknown, because it is unknown.
You use the word thrive a lot, I notice. How does that word then relate to future-proofing cities?
Thrive in that context where I'm using it is not only about green or sustainable practices, but it really is looking at the global package, like how is a city planned beforehand, moving beyond a building scale, looking at the entire community, but then also making sure that it's operated and maintained in a way that will secure the sustainability of that space. So thriving spaces is really where all of those points come together, and people are able to live in walkable environments and be close to different types of land uses so that they have a community around them where they can.
And Audrey Fourie, all of this makes perfect sense, but it depends on two things, I would imagine. One is policy, implementable, and the second is willingness to change, all of us. And I would suggest to you that we don't really have that in abundance.
Not yet, but we see a lot of increased interest from both public and private sector in wanting to change. There are different green building rating tools out there that you can refer to, Eco Districts, Green Star, the Living Building Challenge. But it really is about forming those partnerships to get the dialogue going and keeping it going so that we can see that effective change in policy.
With the understanding that time is against us in this particular debate.
Exactly. We have to start changing because our future is now and our world depends on it. We need to make those changes.
So we can make the changes by doing small things. We can do it in our home.
Exactly.
But often it's a tedious process, or if you do it, and I speak from some experience, you give up, or it's quite expensive.
Very true. But what I always advocate is taking your area of focus and making it small enough that you don't feel overwhelmed by those activities, and then just keep going. A small thing might be...
So what's a small thing?
A small thing, I know a lot of people are saying recycling, but recycling is not going to get us out of the mess that we are in. But even changing your light bulbs, making sure it's energy efficient. If you're buying new appliances, look at the energy and water efficiencies of those appliances. Look at what your garden looks like. Is it using unnecessary amounts of water? Can you reuse some of the water that you're already using once in your house, using that in your garden? Being wise on how you spend your money on the type of materials that you purchase. Making sure that the stuff that you are bringing into your house is not just something unnecessary that's going to gather dust. Is it really needed? Can you repurpose it afterwards? So it's really just how efficient you're living your life.
I admire the enthusiasm, but I'm not entirely convinced as to whether people are going to take this up unless we see more cataclysmic events. And at that point, we're going to be forced into doing it.
Exactly.
We're not quite there yet.
Exactly, but I want people just to have it in their back of their minds. Be ready, be willing to change, and do your part. Have a voice, use it with public sector, drive them to facilitate further change, and we're on a good road.
All right, Audrey, thank you very much for joining us.